Guys, we're out here right now at Site B, and Paul and I have been shooting a bunch of content, having some fun shooting night vision. In fact, most of our shooting was happening at night the last couple evenings. But I also saw on Paul's YouTube channel that he had recently done a video on the rifle that he is holding. And so I wanted to do a Mark 18 video on TA because we've never talked about our 10.3, 10.5 builds. So I figured it was just a good opportunity for us to have a really chill video and go over our setups, and obviously they're Mark 18-ish. So if you hate us and think that we shouldn't be talking about this, you should probably comment. And I feel like we'll troll them back. I feel like I might jump in the comments and get spicy as well.
I may make a different username.
I don't think we should advertise it. We might get in the comments there with you. But Paul, why don't you give everybody a rundown of your rifle, and then just right away give them the why behind what you did.
So the why. This rifle I set up for home defense. All right, this is my bedside rifle. This is also my dedicated night vision, night fighter, if you will, rifle. All right, so the way it's set up is obviously a short 10.5, technically not a 10.3, and I know all you cloners out there are freaking out, but this rifle will do everything that your cloner DD Mark 18 will do, if not better. All right, so unfortunately, that is what it is, and I will say it. But this is what I'm going to defend my life with and my family's life, just night vision training in general. If I ever have to actually use my night vision and night vision setup, this is the rifle that I'm going to use. And it's pretty much ready to rock all the time. It's been very reliable, and I'm really happy with it. And it's honestly, besides the Gucci optics, lasers, and lights and suppressors, it's really not expensive. The internals are all pretty much aero or ballistic advantage. So
nice. So as far as front to back, what kind of parts do you have thrown on this guy here?
Yeah, so tip here is the Surefire SOCOM. This is the SB2, it's not the RC2. This is the one made for shorter barrels, I think 10-inch and below, but it does literally the same thing. Surefire M600 DF with a tail cap that I can actually use if my pressure pads that are actually mod light buttons here, the mod buttons that are attached to. Rear for my PEC, that's why I have it brown, all right? So that's why I have that, and then black for my weapon light. Full power PEC, Daniel Defense Mark 18 rail. The reason I went with this rail is it's really sturdy, it's really heavy. It does really well at keeping lasers zeroed and having a lot of stuff mounted on them. So that's why I went with it. Also, I really like quad rails, and personally I think the Mark 18 rail from Daniel Defense, the RIS 2 rail, is really sexy. And overall, I love quad rails. Knights Armament, broomstick grip here. I've got a Aimpoint T2 on a Scalar Works 193 mount. I have a Arrow bolt. I have a ballistic advantage upper. I have a Arrow precision lower. I have an American Trigger AR Gold flat face. Really, really like that trigger. Magpul rear sights, Radian SD. All right, so that's the ones with the little holes in it. Helps with the gases and whatnot. Law folder, of course, because why not? Running your standard 90-degree just AR M16 style safety selectors. B5, or excuse me, this is the Magpul XL grip. And then obviously my favorite stock, I have them on all my rifles. It's a must for me, is the Magpul STRs, I believe. Not the CTR, it might be the STR. Pretty sure it's the STR. T-Rex arm sling, and that's it. I mean, it's super simple. It's not too heavy, not too light, and it gets the job done every time, and I really, really like it. Also, I wanted to mention I have a ballistic advantage 10.5, not 10.3 barrel. So it's
awesome.
sick. Love this rifle. It's my favorite.
It's also a cool rifle for photos.
Yeah.
Because that matters. The points for the looks matter a little bit. That's why we have FDE on some of these guns. But I'll give a rundown of my build. This is a 10.3 inch. It started out as a Geisley. I believe they call them their Super Duty upper. 10.3 upper. So the rail, upper receiver, the original bolt, and the barrel came from Geisley. But I had some modifications done to this. I put a Superlative Arms piston kit on this. The reason why is 10.3s, 10.5s can be pretty gassy depending on how you run them. You run a can, they can get very gassy. No doubt probably why you ran that charging handle, because you're getting blown back in your face all the time. So it can be a pain in the butt when you're running a very short 5.56 because of that. The Superlative Arms piston kit I also dialed in so I can run it suppressed, unsuppressed. I don't really have to think about it, and that's the key here. So if you watch my videos suppressed with this, it is overgassed a little bit, and that's because I found a setting on the piston kit that allows me to run properly without the suppressor, and then it's just a little bit gassy with it. Got a Silencer Co. Omega 30 cal can, full size Cloud Defensive Rain light over here. This little guy on the top is the TLR VIR2, which is a pretty sick little flood laser. It's a citizen legal, consumer legal, whatever you want to call it, laser. These are meant really for pistols, but if you're on a budget, this is a pretty solid option. Got the cloud defensive pressure pad here. A lot of people ask why I have a pick rail on the bottom on this M-LOK slot. And the reason is because we go hunting in multiple states with these rigs. So we strap them into tripods. And when I'm hunting, hiking around, whatever, I like to have a very compact, potent little caliber. And this is perfect in that regard. It's also why I have the Vortex UH1 Gen 2. This is night vision compatible as well, so I can run it as passive aiming if I want to, but I don't really, I run the TLR for that. Have the 3X magnifier because if I have a fox or a coyote or something hung up, you can just get a little bit of magnification to make a shot. Got the Geisley charging handle on this, as well as Law folder. We're running an SBA3 brace, Blue Force Gear sling, which is just a sling. I run these. I don't have a preference really that this is my go-to sling. It's just way back in the day I bought a bunch of these things, random, whatever. They work. My favorite trigger ever that I've found to date is the Geisley SDE trigger. And my second favorite's the SDC, which is their Super Dynamic Combat. That's more like a cleaner mil-spec. I like that one if I'm training on the range. If I need to take a hunting shot, I really do like that trigger. Arrow precision lower. And I built this gun pretty much for the same reasons you said. This is a home defense gun. This is something that if I need to use my night vision, I can. If I need to go hunting or hiking or whatever, this fits in a backpack. It's very concealable, it's compact, and it is accurate. It is a nice platform. That's pretty much it at the end of the day. Like these are, the 10-3s I think are probably the perfect length for a backpack. The one thing I will say is back in the day, I was very hesitant to go with a short 5.56. I always ran 300 blackouts because I chrono all of my guns before I zero them. I put them into a ballistics calculator, do all of that stuff. So 10-3s, you scrub a lot of velocity, but at the same time with modern bullets, modern ammo, we've put a lot of critters in the dirt with these guns and it's devastating. So I have no issues whatsoever having this up in my bedroom, doing something like that.
Yeah, short guns like this have also put a lot of humans in the ground too. So they work. All right, don't get so hung up that you need a 14.5 or it needs to be a 13.9 pin and welded suppressed and it's not going to do what I need it to do at 227 yards. It will do what you need it to do.
Awesome, simple video guys. Hope that it gave you a little bit of information. You've seen these guns in content, no doubt. Just wanted to give you a rundown of them. So guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Check us out in the next one. Hit that subscribe button. If you are a true cloner and you'd like to clone rifles by the book, you won't like me, you may not like Paul, we don't care. Comment, subscribe, see you in the next one.